everyone. This is Justice Warriors podcast coming to you with a little bit of a variant today, and I am personally excited to discuss with Princess Lumpia a franchise that I've been secretly begging to come back.
I love this franchise.
I'm so happy. Well, this is a rumor, I guess, but let's dive into this. So it's Tron 3. And according to Twitter handle DR Movie News 1, they say that breaking, Disney confirms that Tron 3 is officially in development. Everyone's favorite Jared Leto is reportedly in talks to star. A director search is underway, but the studio is hopeful that Tron Legacy director Joseph Kosinski returns, as well as Daft Punk.
So, nice.
Great news. They also mentioned it's going to be a sequel to Legacy. Potentially the cast of Legacy could return. So that's what Olivia Wilde and Garrett Hedlund.
Yeah.
And maybe, was it Jeff Bridges? So, Jeremy Bridges, that's it. Right? Anyway. And then it could be talking about how Cora, Olivia Wilde's character, is the how she crossed over from the digital world to the real world, and how it's possible the grid could come over. And then let's play a little bit of the interview, shall we?
You know, Daft Punk has a bit of a television and movie development company and all kinds of things they're into, businesses they're into. And I lunched with Paul Hahn to further a bit of a starting conversation about that we're looking at making a sequel to Tron now. We're looking at making a Tron 3. And we've got a great script. I mean, a really phenomenal script that we're very excited about. And whereas the timing wasn't right to have done it years ago, I think we feel like the timing is right now. And we learned a lot of lessons from that last movie. And so, Paul and I are always about, look, the right and first thing to do is to try to bring Daft Punk back and what they want to. And, the answer is they're open to anything and everything, but you got to take it as it comes and see what the circumstances are. And we don't even know who will be directing it yet. I mean, I think we're hopeful that Joe Kosinski would come back and do another one. Joe just, speaking of Tom Cruise, Joe just directed Top Gun 2.
Yeah, we were just in his office.
All right, so I'm going to stop the interview segment there. But basically, the Disney executive Mitchell Lieb at Light the Fuse podcast had an interview and basically confirmed that they've had a script. Now we know the third Tron was a bit in a development production hell, and we were thinking this thing was dead, which is kind of odd because I thought this thing was a really good movie. So I'm going to toss it to Lumpia and ask, are we going to get lucky?
I hope we do. In the sea of Marvel and DC and all these other sort of franchise movies, it's a nice change. And it's been a while. I've been wanting a sequel to Tron Legacy.
But before you continue, you didn't get the reference, the bad joke, the pun.
Wait,
lucky.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, continue. I mean, go ahead before I blurb. Any more thoughts on it?
No. Really, I didn't catch this on Twitter. I'm very excited to see it. If they bring back the people in Legacy, that'd be great. They don't need to bring back Kurt Russell anymore. I think it's the next phase of the story was supposed to be about Cora and the other guy. I forget his name, Garrett Hedlund's character, but it was supposed to be about them and her going into the real world.
There was so much potential in it, and it was so good. And then what was forgotten was the son. There was this guy who was a little bit of an ass. I forget, he was, I think, the son of the protagonist. I could be butchering this, but I thought the son of the protagonist of the first one in the real world. And so there was this potential that the sun. It'd kind of be like a sun versus sun thing, and then you'd have the risk of the digital world coming into the real world. You'd have like massive ships and weird, crazy tech, and oh my goodness, it had so much potential. And the weird thing was, the like for the time that it came out, the visuals and the CGI were so good, and the digital de-aging they did was very good.
Yeah, yeah.
No, so there was no announcement per se, but everyone's known it's been in development hell, and for them to say they were working on the script for years, and then the interesting thing that I caught in that little blurb was we had the script and we felt that we couldn't do it years ago, but now was the time to do it. What do you think that means?
What do you mean? Say that again.
So in the interview, he said we had a great, phenomenal script. However, we felt it was not the right time years ago, but we feel now is the time to act on the script. So they had a script, but they just felt for some reason now was not, like back then was not the time.
Yeah. And maybe back then wasn't, because I think right when that came out, it started. Was that around the time the Marvel movies started picking up steam?
No, it was before, I thought. Right?
No, I'm saying like after Tron Legacy, then the Marvel movies started picking up steam. It could be like a situation of like, what did they want to? That movie was probably one of my favorites that I didn't expect to be. And I said, I wanted more, to be honest with you. They set it up so that it would like open that world up, like you said, potential. It would be very, very interesting to see what they do with it now, with all the technology that we have. Like, it's been a long time since that movie's been out.
2010.
Yeah, 10 years. So I think it's a good time to do it. That being said, I think while I think it's a good time to do it, like, I think they have to do it right. That's all. Like, they definitely just have to do it right, in my mind.
Yeah, so it was actually Jeff Bridges, not Kurt Russell.
Oh, sorry, Jeff Bridges. Whoops, Kurt Russell.
But yeah, he was the main character, the very first one back in the 80s. Is that the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
whoops.
And then you had Daft Punk, of course, be the DJs.
Yep,
that was actually kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were actually two, I guess, of the original ones that were the people that did it in the past. But anyway, I'm actually a little worried about that comment that it back then it wasn't the right time, now is,
Mm-hmm.
because your opinion about it could have just been the Marvel movies just took over all the budget and they just had to focus on what was making them buku bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that scares me is, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit, if there was any franchise that could have learned from how Tron Legacy did the passing of the torch, it was Star Wars that could have learned from this.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had a new character, they had a new character, son of the original character. They then introduced Korra, and then those were the two. They focused on those two, but they acknowledged the importance of the original cast of characters. They did not bastardize the original character, the father Flynn.
Yeah.
He, I guess, was within character of the original representation of him. He died, or I guess so he did die. I don't know how it works in the Tron world, but
Mm-hmm.
he died in a way. He saved his son. He saved Korra because in his mind, Korra was the future.
Mm-hmm.
And he passed the torch of the franchise to Sam Flynn and Korra, and it felt organic. And my fear is that we're going to do this Hollywood type of let's push the the messaging and all that stuff. However, you could probably do that right if you execute it well, and if you can't get Garrett Hedlund and Olivia Wilde to reprise their role, if you want to have a lead character that's a female, I would accept it if it was their daughter.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like someone from their, like, so to speak, from their like lineage, if you will. Yeah.
Like,
that would be something digestible.
Yeah, because like if, for example, if Rey would have just actually been Luke's daughter, I think I would have been 100% Rey. So bringing it back to Tron, though, I hope that's what I think they're gonna do. There was just so much potential about the fact that not only Korra wasn't a program, she was born, like her people were born into this world, like out of evolution.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of like, it was almost like the Matrix in that sense. Like the next, like, well, with the Matrix, it was a continuous loop. But like with that, yeah, they were born, like they were out of
nothing.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, like the concept of it, and then the fact that they were able to escape that world.
Yeah,
it was actually another world. It wasn't like pixels and digitization. It was actually another world. So yeah, I mean, very, very cool concept, and I thought it built well on the first Tron, like, and yeah, I mean, you know, like you said, I think if they do it right, yes. But if they, especially if they're skipping multiple years, but if they don't, then it's, and maybe that's what it was. They needed to do it right. And so that's why, that's why they waited so long. I know the rights of the sequel to Tron Legacy were already up there, and that a movie was already slated. It's just a matter of getting a showrunner for the movie, the producer, the executive. Like, it was a matter of getting the green light as some of these things go, because typically it's on the docket, and I think it got forgotten in the time of, as Marvel was picking up steam.
Right.
As other things were picking up steam. Because you said 2010?
Yeah.
Isn't that when Iron Man came out?
Iron Man was 08, but Iron Man started it, but it wasn't the
MCU that we know today. But I know for a fact, like, because after Iron Man, what was it? Like, it's every 2 years you get a movie. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it got dwarfed by a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm trying to do in the background to see if they had that list, but 2000. So Iron Man was 2008. The Incredible Hulk, which is the Norton, right? Edward Norton.
Yeah,
that was 2008. Iron Man 2. Okay, so Iron Man 2 was 2010. Thor was 2011. Captain America: First Avengers was 2011, and 2012 was the first Avenger. So you're right. It was picking up steam. And I think was Iron Man 2 the biggest one, or 3?
Was that the one with the Omega Red guy? No, okay.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
That being said, though, with Iron Man 2, they basically said you're going to have the Avengers, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was like the fact that there was a second Iron Man. I mean, you know what I mean? Like the fact that there was a second Iron Man.
Right.
And then I think at the end of it, they at the end of, was it Iron Man 1 or Iron Man 2 that they basically hinted at the Avengers?
2.
But basically, yeah, at the end of the day, like, we all kind of knew where it was going.
Oh wait, I lied. Wait. So 1 had Nick Fury at the end, right? For the end credits.
Yeah.
So then,
and then Nick Fury popped up again in Hulk.
Yeah, but it wasn't Samuel L. Jackson's Incredible Hulk. That was what's his name? The Red Hulk. Who's Red Hulk?
Edward Norton.
No, Red Hulk is Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Thunderbolt Ross was there, and then Downey showed up at the end to talk about. I think that's where, I think it was Incredible Hulk where he mentioned the Avengers, and then Iron Man 2, he had a depressive state, and then he was at the donut shop, and then what's his name was there? Nick Fury was there. Anyway.
Yeah.
We
digress. Yeah, like at the end of the day, I mean, what it is that if they do reboot it, it's perfect timing. They have so much potential around the storyline. They don't necessarily need all the characters from the first two, but it would be nice to know what happened to Cora and Flynn's son.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, it's actually a good time for it.
Yeah, I think at this point they're 10 years older. They're probably going to be father mother figures. The romance part was kind of a little bit weak in terms of the connection, but it was kind of implied. But that was fine. I guess it's a Disney movie. It doesn't have to go wishy-washy.
The visuals and the music of this
movie
is so awesome.
Music. I have to say, this is what I wanted to tell you is like, of all the movie soundtracks.
Yeah, this one I could listen to. Like
this was a great. Go like.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I bought a soundtrack of a movie. I felt like I bought a Daft Punk.
And it felt like one continuous song. It really felt like one long song. Like versus like multiple songs that make up a movie. It was one like song.
Yeah.
So cool. And then they appeared in the movie. Yeah. Very, very cool.
So I'm excited. I think it's kind of interesting because it's not an official announcement, but at the same time, for the executive to say, we're trying to get Daft Punk back, we're trying to get Joseph Kosinski, who I didn't realize also did Top Gun Maverick, which kind of explains the fact that why the trailers of Top Gun Maverick, he really captures this essence of Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a guy I just wonder why they didn't like get ideas from him about how to carry over a legacy franchise into the future.
Yeah.
You could do so much goodwill moving franchises forward and introducing characters that are new that you like. Like I actually cared about Flynn's son and Cora. I actually gave a crap.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like me giving a crap about Rose Tico's sister and then she dies in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that where they Star Wars.
Like, who the heck was that? And then you find out later, like, oh, that was her sister. Like, what?
Do we care? You know?
Not really, but yeah.
Before we go, what is up with this Jared Leto obsession?
What do you mean, Disney?
I'm just saying, like, everyone wants to cast Jared Leto. Like,
I think he's a good actor. I think he did a good job in a couple of the films, but I know he's under heat for some stuff in the news. So I'm shocked that Disney would bring him in. I wonder who he's going to play. I could see him playing the bad guy.
He has to, because I swear to God, if it's somebody like, if they recast Flynn's son, Sam Flynn, and make him Jared Leto, I'm not going to like it. He just looks like, this is Blade Runner 2099 or whatever, 2049, I don't know. But he's more of a bad guy. Like, if he's going to be a hero, he's an anti-hero, and I felt Morbius was actually a pretty good place for him. But
he's definitely got to be the anti-hero in this movie. But in the Tron universe. But again,
I just think Jared Leto, I don't know. I just think he's there. I don't think he's the guy to get excited about. I don't know. Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up here, but I do want to say we are excited when they finally officially announced it, and we will be excited when they actually give us a trailer. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we can get together with Sirius to just talk about a reaction, because I am so geeked up if this is really true. This place says it's true. I mean, if you think about it, when an executive says we have a script and we just need to get the director and Daft Punk back, that's another. I will buy that Daft Punk album because it's just so good. Like I still listen to that Tron soundtrack.
No, it's such a great soundtrack.
It's so good. I actually think it is better than some of the soundtracks, but that's my opinion. That's better than some of the albums, but that's just my opinion. I'm getting geeky, so what am I supposed to say? Anyway, I hope you liked the episode, this variant episode, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to be notified of our content as we drop it. And we do have a podcast on Spotify, Google Podcast that you can download if you miss it, as well as reach out to us on our Twitter handle @JusticeSith, and we're happy to engage with our audience. So from there, look out for more content. And as always, Sundays are the podcast, the weekly podcast. So signing off. Have a good night, everyone. See ya. Bye.